Lying seems to be the new meta, at least if you're trying to get traction on Twitter or YouTube, or I guess anywhere in the online space. Beyond having people, do clips and completely make up captions that have nothing to do with the video, you have people who are, like, again, straight up lying about easily verifiable things. Like, for starters, why are we lying about refunds via SteamDB for the Marathon? Marathon, a game that doesn't come out until like this Friday on the 6th, apparently was refunded after the server slam, according to SteamDB, except for you can't find out refund status of any game via SteamDB because SteamDB doesn't keep track of refunds. That is a blatant lie. Or what they would do is they would do lies of omission, like with Horizon Hunter Gatherers, trying to make it seem like the game is a flop, no one cares about it, without taking into consideration that it was a timed invite-only playtest that had a block of time you had to be there for. Now, lying isn't new. We've been doing this for a long time. But what I've noticed is there seems to be certain types of games nowadays that people will willingly create lies about. And a lot of people will just go with it. And surprise to nobody, right? It's tied to this culture war bullshit. A culture war that was created in large part by Jeffrey Epstein and Peter Thiel and Steve Bannon, which seems to be swept under the rug, and I don't know why. Like, that's kind of important. But it's a ceaseless, endless culture war that only has gamers as victims. There are no winners to this. Again, why, if you do not like a game, why would you go so far as to completely fabricate things like it's being refunded? All that does is ruin your own credibility. Because once again, that's not true. It's fake. SteamDB can't do that. Horizon Hunter Gatherers isn't a flop. It's not out. It's doing a playtest. Like Marathon was doing a playtest. Like Marvel Rivals had done invite-only playtests. But we seem to be in this time now where no game is allowed any grace. No game's allowed to find its footing. No game's allowed to, discover things. It's just immediate hatred on something that's new. Whether it's a new spin on an existing IP, whether it's an existing IP going to a different genre, no one's allowed to experiment and try different things. But then you see people complaining about us getting the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. You're going to get the same food if you keep complaining about different meals. That is why I think it's insane that there is this cottage industry of people who just hate on things outright without it giving it any sort of shot, without testing it for themselves. As this recording, like 10 minutes ago, me and Crimes New Rome were playing the Marathon server slam. And to be fair, extraction shooters aren't really my thing, but it was free, so I gave it a chance. Doesn't change my opinion about extraction shooters. In fact, a lot of my complaints he shared, right? Especially with the ammo economy. But that's something they can fix. That's something they're probably looking at using this server slam, right? You can tweak those things on the back end. It's not acting like, adding a new character or a new mechanic. It's just dropping more ammo, especially from those goddamn robots that seem to drop nothing useful. But all that to say is, at least give it a chance. If there's no harm that comes from it, there's no financial harm. If you're on the fence about it, play it. That's what demos are for. I played it. I'm like, okay, it's not for me. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. And what I really want to talk about is a notion I've been seeing a lot now, and it's the simple, who was this made for? Who asked for this? Who wanted this? That is such a dishonest question in my eyes, because so many games exist without anyone's input, right? Like, people say they're tired of the Souls-like genre. Like, who want to make this game? Who wants another Lords of the Fallen? Some people do. Who wants another, Souls-like whatever? And then Lies of P comes out. And people love Lies of P. I love Lies of P. That is firmly a Souls-like. No one asked for a Pinocchio take on the Souls genre. No one's asking for that. People weren't begging for that, but you got it and you liked it. No one was asking for Fortnite to be a battle royale game, yet here we are 1,000 years later and people are still playing Fortnite and it has every IP in it. No one asked for Apex. In fact, they were specifically asking for Titanfall 3, but they got Apex and Apex is still here. You're getting the point, right? There were a ton of games people haven't asked for, a ton of genres no one asked for, but now they're staples. No one asked for a Vampire Survivor. Now you have Vampire Survivor clones. No one asked for Balatro. Now you're going to get Balatro clones. Like, no one asked for any of these things. The entire point, though, is these development teams come up with an idea, and if they can execute it well enough, they give you something that you didn't know you wanted until they delivered it to you. But everyone's so quick to want to hate everything that everything gets slathered with the same sort of criticism, even when it doesn't truly apply to it. And then when these games fails, they act as if like, well, of course it was going to fail. It has ugly characters in it. It has wokeness or whatever. But then when those very same games succeed, it's crickets. Games fail and games succeed. I've said that multiple times. And yes, there are some games that are executed better than other games, but it doesn't mean the idea or the genre is over and done and tired. It's just that one just didn't hit. There have been hundreds of live service games, and we're never not having those at this point. But there are live service games that are hitting. You guys are playing Arc Raiders. People are still playing Warframe, and they're playing Soulframe now. People obviously are still playing Fortnite. People still play live service games. If the service is good, if the game is good, right? And it has nothing to do with characters being hot or ugly or whatever. That's a dumb, reductive argument that doesn't actually explain anything. What we guys ultimately are talking about is the basic concept of just a quality game. Does this game work? Does it function as intended? Does it entice the audience? That's it. Too much of this culture war is adding on layers upon layers of shit that doesn't have to be there. You can just get straight to the meat of things. But instead of doing that, we are allowing them to create these markets of hatred for every game that comes out. There are people shitting on Resident Evil 9. Resident Evil. The series that's turned itself around since Resident Evil 7. Like, it's insane to me that there are people who are trying to be like, oh, well, this game's going to suck because Grace is censored. Oh, well, it's going to be bad because they're making her a whiny whatever woman. And those same people are now going, oh, well, see, this is why it succeeded, because it's a hot girl and an attractive man, and not because it is in a venerated franchise, bringing back a well-beloved character, and it's executing well on its premise. They never talk about that. But that's why it's doing well. Because guess what? They have put Leon in games before that people didn't like that much. Resident Evil 6. They have brought back fan favorites in franchises that it didn't necessarily succeed in. It was executed well. Hence their response. Arc Raiders is a live service game, but it's executed well. Hence their response. When things are done well, you don't have a problem with it. You aren't still saying who asked for Arc Raiders. You aren't saying who asked for a 9th Resident Evil. You aren't saying who asked for Liza P. You aren't saying any of those things because those games succeeded. But when the games failed, it's like, well, who was the audience? The same audience. It's the same audience. Again, games just either succeed or they fail. And they can succeed for a lot of reasons, some I've mentioned, and they can fail for a lot of reasons, some I mentioned in the past. But to focus on these dumb arguments, this surface level analysis serves nobody besides these grifters that want you angry, that want you consistently watching their stuff, reading their tweets, reposting them, interacting with them. They don't know what they're talking about. They will, if you want to talk about credibility, how bad they are, they will shit on games journalists, specifically people like Paul Tassi, and then when it's convenient, utilize Paul Tassi. They will say that this game is going to be terrible, and then the next tweet you see, it's like, I always knew this game was going to succeed. These people aren't to be trusted. They just want to get in and disrupt shit. They don't enjoy anything. They are joyless. Do not let them take your joy. Do not let them ruin the hobby. Whenever you hear them talking about this game is going to be a flop because no one likes it, right? They're wrong. The game might be a flop, but not because of that. Look at, like High Guard, right? High Guard's a very popular game to talk about. High Guard had a lot of hate going against it because it simply appeared as the last game in the Game Awards. That's it. They will say, oh, because it looked woke, but that makes no sense. That makes zero sense. Because guess what? If High Guard succeeded like an Overwatch, they wouldn't have said that shit. It'd be just another live service game you can play and enjoy. But because it failed, now it's because it's woke. It's because you guys weren't listening to the gamers and what gamers want. As if gamers even know what they want. They say they want a game like Dino Crisis. You got Code Violet, didn't play it. Granted, Code Violet sucked, but you didn't know that until you play it. And also it had hot girls shooting dinosaurs. That's what you guys said you wanted. You guys say you want attractive people in games. You attract people in games and you still don't play those games, right? Listening to gamers is also at this point a meme, because again, most of the vocal gamers are the gooners who want everyone to have big boobies. And then when they do listen to the gamers, they're still mad. Hello, Overwatch. They listen to the gamers who play Overwatch and say, we want her face changed. Because when you guys released her originally and her first iteration, her face looked completely different. Now she has the same face as Mercy and all those people. And they listen to them. And you are still seeing people complain that, oh my God, they bent the knee to the woke mob. Because ultimately, they don't want them listening to gamers. They want them listening to them. They want games to all be homogenous, to look one way. That's it. That is not a successful strategy at all. And you guys know that. You see it all the time. Look how many games that exist right now that are doing really well. Do they all look the same? Do they all play the same? Do they all have the same idea? Of course not. We have a diverse range of games now, which people hate that word for some reason, but diversity, again, just means different. Doesn't mean it has to be, oh, put black people and gay people and all this stuff in these games. Although no problem if you do, but we have a diversity of game types, diversity of expressions, which I've always championed. And those people have always disapproved of. And yet, look at the games we have. That is from diversity. You have games coming from China, from like Thailand, from other places in the world that you didn't think you get games from. Games from Korea. You have all these games coming out. That's diversity. You have different looking games. You have games with different ideas. That's also diversity. That's a good thing. But what's not a good thing is having this immediate hatred towards everything different to the point where you're lying about things for no reason. Like at the end of the day, these are video games. Why are you lying about them? Why are you creating a fiction on this? Right? It's like what Dr. Disrespect did with High Guard. Like, why would you lie about that? And then do it again for Marathon. Like, it's pathetic. Stop being pathetic.